What an amazing weekend we've just had. If anyone joined us in London this weekend, 1st of June, what an amazing time we had. And in fact, actually, it was a tale of two demos, and both of them were very similar but very different, if that makes any sense. On the Saturday, I was heavily involved, as many of you will know, in organisation of the event and then obviously taking part in the event. I kind of got up 3 o'clock in the morning after having 2.5 hours sleep, dragged myself to the airport, got on a plane, and got to London. But as soon as we landed in London, there was a really, really good vibe about what was going to happen. A really positive atmosphere. Everyone was really excited about the day, and we weren't let down. It was an absolutely superb day. First of all, I want to talk about the policing. Coming up to the event, myself and Tommy dealt with the police extensively over a period of, I suppose, 6 weeks. We sometimes we're meeting two or three. Actually, last week before the actual event, we three meetings in 1 week. Now, what can I say about the policing? The police on the ground, from the guy that was running the show, his two bronze commanders on the ground, one at Victoria doing the march with us, one at Parliament Square. All three of those guys and the guys that were working with them, the whole team, were absolutely superb. I'm just going to say that. I mean, a lot of people won't like me saying that because we're saying, why are you bigging up the police? Well, I think you've got to give credit where credit's due. However, I do have a massive problem with an officer or one of the senior officers that was obviously above the gentleman that we were dealing with. We were dealing with fellas at a fairly high level. So this, you're talking top tier guy in probably Mark Rowley's team. He was trying to insist on seeing the film before the film was played in Parliament Square. And on that point, me and Tommy both point blank refused to allow that to happen. I'll tell you why we refused to allow that to happen. It wasn't that we were being awkward. It wasn't that we were trying to make life difficult for the police. If we'd have done that, if we'd have folded on that, like this guy was pushing for, it would have set a precedent that would have affected not just our demonstration, but every other demonstration that will ever take place in London. And we refuse to be the people that would set that precedent. And we won't set that precedent. We will never show speeches or films before they go out, because it's an assault on our democratic rights and on our freedom of speech. If we say something that commits a criminal offence, then there's absolutely, the police have every right to come and arrest us if we're breaking the law. That has never happened. I've been doing this since 2017. Tommy's been doing it since 2009, I think. So that's a lot of history there and a lot of stuff that's recorded on the internet. Not once has my door been knocked or Tommy's been knocked about things that we've actually said at demonstrations. I think that's very important to get across. So that put a lot of tension on the issue of policing on the last day. I don't for 1 minute blame the team that we were dealing with. I don't believe, obviously they can't speak out against, I hate the word superior officers, let's say senior officers. They can't speak out against senior officers. However, I read the body language in the room when we were having those discussions, even though it was online, and I personally don't believe that the guys that were running that team wanted anything to do with that letter that man sent to us. I'm not speaking on their behalf. I don't know what they really think, but that's the vibe I got. So I must say, I've got to say that the police handled that event very, very well. But I also want to say that our own security teams, our stewards, our security, our people that were liaising with the police and liaising with the security and the stewards played an absolute blinder as well. Very stretched. There was a lot of people there. I don't know how many, 20,000, 30,000, I don't know. But there was thousands of people at that event. It was a very, very big march. I've been in a lot of marches. I'd say it was comparable with the one that we did in October 2017 after the Ariana Grande terrorist attack. Massive, massive crowd. And the crowd themselves behaved absolutely impeccably, apart from a few very, very minor incidents, hence me having my eye closed over. But again, those incidents are hardly worth bothering with, and I've covered them in other videos. So the crowd behaved absolutely impeccably from start to finish. The atmosphere was an atmosphere of love, of pride in country, of being proud of being British, of celebration. Everybody there was talking about how great the United Kingdom was, but also how it's been undermined by very, very dark and sinister forces. So it was more of a celebration. It was a celebration of British heritage. It was a celebration of British culture. It was a celebration of everything that we are and everything that we want to remain. The other thing about the crowd and about the event, the crowd itself was so diverse. It was different races, different religions, different colours, the whole patchwork that now makes up the United Kingdom. And that was amazing and that was positive. And the dialogue that were going on, the discussions that were going on between people were absolutely fantastic. I don't know if there are any Muslims in the crowd. Um, I never asked. I never went to see and say, what religion are you? But there were certainly people from lots of different racial backgrounds. And like we said on the day, the only thing that we care about is what's in your heart. And if what's in your heart is red, white, and blue, you're welcome to our demos and you're welcome in this country. If you live this country, you want to prosper this country, you want to bless this country, you want to respect the laws, the culture, and the religion of this country, you are welcome in this country if you're bringing something and giving something. That was the message that went out loud and clear. But also the message that we have to defend British culture, we have to defend our religion, we have to defend our beliefs, and we have to defend our freedoms. And our freedoms are being eroded. But I believe that the event gave people hope. There were people coming up to me saying they'd seen my videos promoting the event. And as a result of those videos, these people were saying they'd travelled from Scotland, they'd travelled from Wales, they'd travelled from the northeast of England, northwest of England. People had come from everywhere to get to this demonstration. Another lad came across with me from Northern Ireland. I'm not going to mention his name, but he jumped on a plane with me at 6 o'clock in the morning and came across just for the event and flew back that night. So it was a great event. There was a great sense of unity among the speakers. There was a great sense of unity among the stewards and the security. And again, the stewards and the security played an absolute blinder with very, very limited resources. A superb day. But I guess when you have a day like that, the next thing you've got to ask is, what for the future? What are we going to do next? How do we take this to another level? Well, I think it's got to be in this order of march. The first thing that we need to agree on as a movement, and I don't see anybody else pushing this, but I think it's vitally important as a movement. And this movement is not just one, it's not just a Tommy thing. It's lots of different groups. It's lots of different people. So it's not all about Tommy. And he's been very clear about that. He's saying, I'm not leading this. He's saying, I want to facilitate it. I want to see it grow. I want to see it prosper. I want to see it be big. But he's saying he's not leading it. I personally think he is a leader. He is a leader. But he's not wanting to lead this so that more diverse people can come in that have drank the Kool-Aid and listened to the nonsense about Tommy. So he's not asking to be a leader in this movement, even though he is. But it wasn't like that. It wasn't like anybody was controlling the narrative or dictating the narrative. There were so many different speakers from so many different backgrounds, so many different channels on social media. And it really was. It was a social media-driven meeting, because most of the people that were speaking at the meeting were social media influencers with big followings. And again, it's amazing when those people come together, how they can get their base out and get a massive crowd out into Parliament Square on a Saturday lunchtime, when I'm sure a lot of other people could think of far better things to do. But I wouldn't have been anywhere else that Saturday. It was absolutely fantastic. The music was fantastic. So great day. The next thing was, never seen this before, a demo in the UK. We touched on it on St. George's Day. We spoke a little bit about Jesus Christ. And again, I always very, very apologetic when I talk about Christianity, not because I'm ashamed to talk about it, but because I'm very, very aware that I'm not exactly the ideal person to talk about Christianity just because of the struggles I have. So I don't like to be saying, oh, I'm great and I'm this and I'm that. But on that event, 4, 5, 6 speakers mentioned, including Tommy, mentioned Jesus Christ, mentioned the gospel. So there was an amazing Christian element to it. So let's get back to the roadmap, how we actually set something in place that's going to change our country. First of all, this is the most important thing. We've got to get the ideology right. I've said it before, say it again. I've made a website about a year ago called The Pledge. Myself and a colleague in the movement have worked on this for a year. We've got what we believe to be a very, very good mission statement pledge that really anybody from any group can take and own it for themselves. We think it's very good. Other people might not like it and might want to change it. That's absolutely fine. But we need to get the ideology right. The ideology, I believe, needs to be based very, very closely around what we've developed, because obviously we've been doing this for a long time, thought a lot about what we really believe and how we articulate that, because obviously a lot of what's happened in terms of our demonization of the media and also people coming into the movement that probably aren't on the same page as us, and that causes a lot of problems. If people put their signature to the pledge, then we know that they're on the same page. But like I say, that's just something I've done. It's not necessary for everybody. The website's out there. I think it's a great idea. I think everybody should sign the pledge. I'll put the link in the description below, along with UK Freedom Movement. But it might not be for you. And if it's not, that's absolutely fine. But I think it's pretty good, and I think it sums up pretty much what we all believe and how to change things and make things better. Once we've got the ideology right, we build a family, and I mean a family, people that love each other and care for each other. And we've got that. We've got that over the last 7 years. So people fall out from time to time. There's all sorts of differences. But on the whole, there's a good group of people that genuinely care for each other and know each other, because we've been together and we've been through some tough times together, been through some good times together. So we build that family, we build that community, we bring more and more people into it. I believe there's 30 million people at least in this country that believe what we believe. So we build that community, we build it as wide and as broad as we can, but sticking to the ideology that we believe, which you can look at in the pledge. And once you've done that, you then politicize it. So that's a very clear roadmap. Get the ideology right. Build the community around that ideology and around shared beliefs and shared experiences. And then you say, we're going to take back control. We're going to take power. We're going to get elected to Parliament. We're going to start changing the institutions. We're going to put this country back together. It's very, very basic, very, very easy. Well, it's not easy. It sounds easy, but it is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. And I believe that the 27th of July is going to be the next one. I want to see 10 times the number of people there on the 27th of July. Now, we know we're going to have all sorts of problems coming down the road from the government, because they won't want us to do this, from social media companies, etc., etc. Because of that, I'm not just going to ask you to look at the pledge and sign the pledge. I'm also going to ask you